consecrate, which will last for a long period of time. But among all the materials, see, we have to look at it this way. Who we are right now is a consequence of all the material that's here. The food that we've eaten, everything. The soil itself has become like this. So you could have made a mud pot out of it, but now we've made a human being out of it. So this is just evolution of the same thing to different levels. So if this becomes a divine possibility, if you become a Maryada Stri, like Maryada Purush, then we say you are a consecrated being. Consecration, whether somebody helped you from outside or you yourself made yourself like that, is up to you. But now, making a human being like that, yes, we have many consecrated human beings, they're like walking temples. But still, there are issues. People need a place where they can sit and experience that. So for that we consecrate, we choose certain materials. Generally solidified mercury is the best in terms of doing that.
Okay.
Other five metal things are done, certain type of stone is used. Any material which can hold for a period of… we usually say it's eternal, but it's eternal in the context of the span of human life. If you say human life is 100 years, if something is 10,000 years, then in our experience it's eternal. Nothing is really eternal, but we say it is eternal because in our experience 10,000 years is…
So what makes a consecration divine? Can I tomorrow turn around and say, that I want to hold a consecration ceremony? Is it as simple as that?
See, it is not… see, there are many ways to consecrate. One thing is there are processes, that is using mantras and methods, you can consecrate a substance. But if you consecrate a deity or a form through mantras and ritualistic processes, you will have to maintain that ritual, otherwise slowly the deity will start receding. So this is why always they told you, in your home if you bring a deity, daily puja must happen. It has to happen, because then otherwise it'll become receding energy. Receding energy can be harmful. So that is why once you establish a deity, no matter what, it must go on. These 500 years, whatever happened, they somehow kept at least a little ritual going, all right?
Yes.
Somehow kept it going.
Exactly.
Because they want the deity to be alive. That's an important part. But if you do Prana Pratishtha, generally ritualistic maintenance is not needed. It doesn't need your care, it is alive by itself.
Okay, so that's the difference. That's what Prana Pratishtha is, because we're using those two words a lot in India today and everywhere, and I'm not sure everyone understands what a Prana Pratishtha is.
See,
is it a rebirth?
Right now, every sound has a reverberation. If you use the right kind of sounds, we say we are uttering mantras, geometrically correct. So with this, if I consecrate a substance, then that reverb should be going on for it to stay that way. But Prana Pratishtha means our own life energies we are using, or we are also using other kind of processes to put that energy into a form. So once that happens, its maintenance is very minimal, almost nothing. For example, the Dhyanalinga, you've been there, it needs no maintenance. It's simply there.
Okay.
It does not need any maintenance. But that is hard. That's hard on our lives.
So why do you think they've chosen a Prana Pratishtha for the Ram Mandir?
Because the idea is it should last forever.
And when you look at the structure, the architecture of the Ram Mandir, there's a lot of talk about there being a lot of science behind the building, about a lot of thought into how the construction has happened. What do you think about it, Sadhguru?
See, when we say science, if you think architecture is a certain kind of science, because the forms and the shapes around… that is around us has an impact on who we are, how we are.
Sure.
So creating those forms in such a way, it creates the right kind of energy. And if you create an energetic space, especially if you're doing Pratishtha, what kind of substance is around that? Let us say we do Pratishtha and create a plastic temple, it won't have the same thing. That is why we use solid blocks. See, you see, all these foundations are… these rocks are minimum 25 to 40 tons, each one of them. So because it is not standing there because of mortar and binding, it is standing there on self-weight. So our thing is, when I build anything considered a temple, I'm looking at how it will last a minimum of 5,000 years. So the foundation is all sand bed.
Okay.
Because it's seismologically sensitive areas, we put sand bed and these solid stones. This won't shake no matter what happens. Whatever happens, that will be intact. It's all right if a house falls down, we don't care. But we want the temple to stand. This is our way of living.
There's a lot of talk about the mandir and questioning, does it have to be so grand? Can't it be a simple structure that everyone comes and worships? What do you have to say about that? Do you think that, when you have this kind of a grand structure that adds to the value of the mandir?
See, it's people's love. When you love something, you naturally do everything possible, all right?
So that's all.
So people who have no love in their heart, they will think, why are you doing so much? Once you have love in your heart for something or somebody, you can never do enough. How much ever you do, you feel it's not enough. This is the way of a lover. If you have love in your heart, you can never feel I've done enough. You cannot do enough in this life. But if you have no love in your heart, you always think you've done too much. Unfortunate way to live.
I can't have enough of your ashram. You've got a beautiful Naga shrine there. Shall we make our way there, Sadhguru? Sadhguru, with the beautiful Adi Yogi behind us, we're heading towards the Naga shrine. I'm sure it's absolutely beautiful. The backdrop is just amazing to see. And the love, of course, for you, we can see it here as well. Sadhguru, tell me, when we talk about the Ram Mandir, I know you put out a post also, which led to a lot of questions, saying, is the Ram Mandir really for every religion? Or is it for Hindus?
See, we must understand this. When Rama was there, during his time, there was no Hindu and others. So, when he stood up, when he rose as a Maryada Purush, or Purushottam, when he rose as a Purushottam, let's understand the terminology. Maryada means somebody who deserves respect. Purushottam means among the Purushas, he is a Uttama.
Supreme.
Supreme is not the word, he is raised, he is risen.
Okay.
He is a Uttama. Like Uttama, Madhyama, Kanishta, three words, low, middle and high. So as a man can be at his best, he is at his best. Maryada Purushottam. So this is the fundamental significance of this civilization, that here people don't descend from somewhere. Here human beings rise. This is the most important thing we need to understand. We are trying to imitate what everybody says. In other places, somebody dropped down from somewhere. Here, now people who had normal birth, normal human being with all the issues and problems of life, they rose. They rose in such a way that people could almost not recognize them as human. So, the idea is, it's an inspiration for everybody to rise. Every human being should rise, it doesn't matter what they're identified with.
Okay. But is the temple a Hindu temple? That's the question, because Hindus are saying that this is our temple, yes, everyone's welcome, yes, everyone can come and worship.
No question. I'm not questioning whether it's Hindu or not. But as I've repeatedly been saying, we call ourselves Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means eternal. Can something be eternal without being all-inclusive? How can something be eternal if it's not all-inclusive? It's simply out of question. So when we say Sanatan, we are also saying, people these days are repeating this Vasudevaka Kutumbakam, what it means is, it's naturally all-inclusive. Because in this culture, in the Hindu way of life, what you call as Hindu, there are people who will do daily idol worship. There are people who will do mantras and pujas. There are people who don't know any of those things, they'll just… tears will come to them. There are people who close their eyes and meditate. There are people who say, Swarupa, without Rupa, all these things. And there are people who don't believe anything. Agnostic is also a Hindu. So we must understand, this is a beautiful way to exist, that nothing is hard and fast. It is not absolutism.
Okay.
It is an evolutionary process. Today you may be one way. As your life experiences changes, in another 5 years you may be something totally different.
You evolve.
Yes. Depends how profound your experience of life is. Accordingly, every human being evolves. So this is a method, a process and a pathway for everybody to evolve. What you think you are today may not be true tomorrow. Yes?
Sure.
So this is not absolutism, that is the most important thing. That Sanatana Dharma is not absolutist, this is the way. Because somebody said it, that's the truth. No, we all seekers of truth, always searching. See, even when so-called divine entities came, when Rama came, Krishna came, Shiva came, people asked questions, they didn't give commandments, all right? Endless questions.
Correct.
Because it's a seeking. And when we say it's a seeking, well, already it's been said, why are we still seeking? Because it's not yet in your experience. That's the important thing. I am saying this is the truth, but it's not true for you yet. You're not denying it, but you don't know. So I'm not insisting what I say is the truth, you must believe it, otherwise we'll take your head or something. No. We are talking about methods for you to evolve so that you will know. Essentially what we are saying is, authority is not the truth. Truth is the only authority. This is Sanatana Dharma.
So Sadhguru, you made a point about Sanatana Dharma being universal. There's always a lot of talk, and I'm not going to get into the controversy of it, but there's a lot of talk that Sanatana Dharma is a North Indian concept, not a South Indian concept. That nobody here, for example, in Bengaluru knows what Sanatana Dharma is.
That's not true. Terminologies may be slightly different, but it's always there. Maybe in North, because of the language that they speak, they're using those words more often. But it is very much everywhere. Doesn't matter, even those who have converted to various religions, if you go to their homes, they're following many things which are part of this… It has become a culture. Culturally, Sanatana Dharma has entered everybody's life. How you sit, how you stand, how you hold your hands, everything. So, this is a method. When we say a religion, the English word religion largely comes from the Abrahamic stuff. So when they say a religion, they're talking about a particular kind of belief system. If you don't believe that, you can't be that. When we say dharma, we must understand the word dharma means law. So there is political dharma, Raja dharma, grihastha dharma, this dharma, that dharma. For different aspects of life, there are certain laws. Laws not in terms of somebody passed a law. Law in terms of, see, we're talking about Newton's law of motion, whatever. These are the laws which govern certain activities. Only if you understand and imbibe that, you can do that activity perfectly well. So there is a dharma for war, there is a dharma for administration, there is a dharma for people living together as a family. For everything there is a dharma. Husband has a dharma, wife's dharma is there, children's dharma is there. Because if you understand what are the laws which govern, what are the forces which govern these relationships and these activities, we will do it in the best possible way. So in that context, there is a swadharma, which is the spiritual aspect of it, which we call as Sanatana. Other things can change from generation to generation, but there are some things which will not change. That we said unchanging aspect of the dharma is Sanatana Dharma.
And this may be a terminology, as you said, that keeps changing. But another thing I noticed, which a lot of people talk about, is that religion is perceived very differently in the north and south. When I was in Ayodhya, I saw a lot of South Indians there in Ayodhya, more than I expected. A lot of people from Andhra, Telangana, from Karnataka who were there as well. And that made me realize that perhaps Lord Ram is universal.
See, the South Indian, North Indian thing is a political narrative that some people are trying to build for their own advantages. That is not there in people's hearts and minds. That's not there. Because every year, these days it might have come down a little bit, but it's increasing once again. Every year, all the yogis who live in the Himalayan region, they walk 3,200 to 3,300 kilometers all the way carrying Gangajal from Bhagirathi river and they'll come to Rameshwaram because they have to offer it to Rameshwaram Lingam. This is the winter time they choose when it's very cold there, they'll walk down all the way offer this just one kamandalam of water to the linga and again walk back all the way, by then it's again summer. So where is north-south in the spiritual culture of this nation? There is no such thing. Half the sadhus that you see in the north, you talk to them and see, they are Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Malayali.
I have to agree. I saw that in Ayodhya and I was very surprised.
Just because they're sitting in the northern part of the country, people think they're North Indian or South Indian. This is a misnomer, you should not use those terms. You can say, somebody from Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, like this you can talk. North Indian, South Indian, there's no such thing. There is a huge difference in the way people are. From Tamil Nadu to Andhra Pradesh to Telangana, Karnataka to Kerala, there's a massive difference. So this division of north-south is a recent political narrative that somebody is trying to move. I don't think we should give in to that, because when you say North India, South India, it's like East Pakistan, West Pakistan. Okay, they were two different countries geographically. This is not, this is one homogeneous nation and it should always stay that way.
Okay, so let me put it this way. What makes every Bharatiya, every Indian love, worship Lord Ram? You see it in every part of the country.
As I said earlier, he's an inspiration. Why is he an inspiration? Because we must understand, in Sanatana Dharma or Hindu way of life, the only thing that's important for us is to become liberated. Mukti, moksha, nirvana, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, you must become free. Free from what? Free from all the cobwebs that we have created within ourselves. Our own karmic stuff, it's all our making. So to undo that is the whole process of life. So when we see a human being, in many ways he is resolved, we will worship him. It's not just only Rama, there have been many. But he was also a king and fully resolved human being, that's a rare thing. A king is a visible entity, all right? Plus, he looks absolutely resolved. There may be a sage sitting in the hills who is resolved, but he is not visible. A handful of people may be going, a few hundreds may be going, but a king who is fully resolved is a great inspiration, because a sage who is sitting in the cave, here in the Gavalkonda that you see, always sages were there. When my mother was a little girl, she used to come here and there was a yogi and there are lots of stories about it, let's not go there. But he's not doing any activity, so he being resolved is wonderful, but still not as great. But a king means daily, every kind of nonsense he has to handle, all right? He has to fight a battle, he has to do administration, he has to do politics, he has to do everything, but he is fully resolved. This is a tremendous inspiration. That is why he is so big.
Are you a Ram Bhakt, Sadhguru?
I admire him. I'm a devotee of people.
Okay.
Because my work is to see everybody should become Purushottam.
So
My
that's
tools.
but then that makes you a devotee, because
In a way,
Lord
yes.
Ram was Maryada
See.
Purushottam.
See, people ask this, Sadhguru, we love you, do you love me? Do you love us? See, I'm definitely in love. With whom, I don't know, but I'm always in love. So some journalist was asking me, a woman, Sadhguru, who is the most important person in your life? I said, right now it's you. I said, what? I said, yes, this is how I live. Whoever is with me right now, whatever I'm doing, that is the most important thing right now. I don't sit here and think of what else is most important for me. So, in that sense, I'm a devotee anyway. Of whom? Anything that's worthwhile. Will I exclude Ram? Definitely not.
Okay. So you are a Ram Bhakt, but you're also a Bhakt of the people,
Everything.
of everything.
I am devoted to the rocks, to the mountains, to the trees, to even the ant that walks upon the floor. I live like this.
Wow. Coming back to the Ram Mandir, there are a lot of questions, Sadhguru, on whether a ceremony like what we're going to see on 22nd January can happen in a temple that's not complete. Does it matter?
See, the temple is of 3 floors. They've completed 1 floor and they're doing the Ram Lala consecration. And it's already a consecrated deity, they're further enhancing that. And 550 years of time, if it's not enough weight, somebody wants to wait another 2 years. For what? For their own reasons, leave that. I think it's a wonderful thing. As I said, if you love something, you're never going to do something that says, okay, this is enough. So temple will be continuously going on enhancing itself. See, it's already 27 years since I think almost that much since we did Dhyanalinga. Is it over? We're still going on adding something, will it ever be over? It'll never be over. I think the same is true with the Ram temple, it'll never be over. It'll go on. If we do stone, then somebody will say, let's, cover it with gold. Somebody will say, let's put diamonds in it. Because when you love something, you can never do enough. So temple will always be evolving. Unfortunately, we've had a historical situation where temples were pulled down, destroyed, desecrated. So now we're putting back. Of course there is a rush. 550 years is not a small amount of time to wait.
Of course.
And look at the resilience of the people. Because this has been coming last 8 years, I've been kind of acquainting myself with the history of these things. Because what we read in the school books was so… not history at all.
Very basic.
Not even basic, all false in many ways.
False?
Yes. Very one-sided.
Like what?
Not a whole picture. See, you read only dates and battles, nothing about the people, nothing about their suffering, nothing about their valor, nothing about what they built, why they were important, no. Who won the battle? See, writing history in the name of people who won the battle is a very crude way of doing things. Many times people who lost the battle might have been greater people. So, I've been acquainting myself. What I see about this Ram Mandir is, these 550 years, even during the British era, many cases fought, 11 or 12 cases were fought, every one of them they won. But all these cases were fought and launched by ordinary people, not some great leaders or very rich people or kings or something, ordinary people. 550 years, look at the resilience. How much love should be there in your heart to do that? Generation after generation. So if you don't admire that, forget about Ram, if you don't admire these people who carried this on, and now when they want to open, you say, why don't you wait for 2 more years? I think it's ugly, even uttering such things. It's quite obscene for me, that somebody is going on trying to find fault. Really, let them do it the way they want it. You wish to be there, be there. If you don't wish to be there, don't be there, it's simple.
The other aspect is that a lot of people say that, look, yes, there's been a lot of fight over this, we've seen people giving up so much for this temple. Oh, why not build a school? Why not build a hospital that'll benefit the people of Ayodhya?
Why don't you build wherever you want? Why are you telling somebody else to build a hospital and a school? Why don't you build it?
Interesting. So you're saying not on that land? Because they're saying the amount of investment you're putting on the temple, why don't you put it in a hospital or a school and end the dispute as is?
Where is the dispute?
Was a dispute.
Was a dispute, the dispute has been repeatedly settled, all right? During the British era, you must look at the judgments. They made much stronger judgments in favor of the Ram temple than our Supreme Court has done, much stronger, clearly. You must read those judgments, it's amazing. Because they were professional archaeologists who came and examined the British archaeologists. They didn't care what your religion was, they just wrote what they found. And they said this 100% is built on a temple, no question. So that we debated for so long, for 70 years now, which is ridiculous.
Besides, of course, what Ram Mandir means for devotees, for Ram Bhakts, there's also a lot of talk about what it means for India.
It is the greatest historic moment post Somnath temple. People have carried the temple in their hearts, now they're just putting it in stone out.
खबरों के ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट विश्लेषण जैसी ही एक दुनिया और भी है, और वो है सफेद पन्नों पर काले अक्षरों से उकेरे गए साहित्य की दुनिया। तो आइए साहित्य की इस ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट दुनिया में खो जाएं।
साहित्य आज तक लखनऊ 20 और 21 जनवरी, अंबेडकर मेमोरियल पार्क, गोमती नगर, लखनऊ। फ्री एंट्री के लिए रजिस्टर करें www.aajtak.in/साहित्य पर या मिस्ड कॉल दीजिए 9310330033 पर। Step into the future at the World Economic Forum at Davos 2024. 5 days of continuous coverage with top Indian and global leaders. Join an exclusive lineup of visionaries, CEOs and policymakers. From dialogues on climate change to economy to artificial intelligence. Experience the transformative conversations at Davos with Business Today TV.
As we get closer to January 22nd, there's of course a lot of curiosity of what the temple will look like, a lot of curiosity of what the Ram Lalla idol looks like. I spoke to a tailor here in Ayodhya, the man who's been stitching the clothes for the Ram Lalla idol in the current Mandir and will be doing so for the new idol as well. And he gives us a glimpse of what Ram Lalla could be wearing on the big consecration day. आप ही बनाते हैं, सिलते हैं कपड़े?
1985 से हमारे श्री पिता श्री बाबूलाल श्रीवास्तव और भगवत प्रसाद श्रीवास्तव हमारे बड़े भाई साहब हैं, और मैं शंकर लाल श्रीवास्तव। उस समय सन 85 में